want to begin just kind of talking of where I was before I got a chance to come to the Lord. And I was the oldest of 6 children, and we were brought up Catholic. My parents and relatives and all were all Catholic, I think much like the history in this household here.
Yeah.
We went to church every Sunday and were involved in the church. I did all the Catholic ceremonies and sacraments, the First Communion, baptism of course, and First Communion, and confirmation, and went to what was called catechism, which was Catholic Sunday school, so it was Saturday mornings most of the time. And then as you get in high school, went to CYO, which was Catholic Youth Organization, and it was for high school and up. And we had lessons to study. I can't say I learned much. I remember having a workbook. I don't recall really studying the Bible. Maybe we had some passages, it's hard to say. But in church, we really didn't study the Bible. It was either Miss Select, and that was kind of it. The priest preached, and we listened. I don't believe we ever had a Bible in our house. We didn't talk much about church other than we were supposed to go, and we were expected to go. And went through my young years, through high school that way, following the traditions of the church, and not eating meat on Friday, and the Lenten rituals and the like. And after high school, I'll back up a minute, but so I knew there was a God, and I can't say that I really knew Jesus and just knew there was this being out there that we were supposed to respect and believe in, and just kind of followed along. I remember being very concerned about the creating mortal sins, and for those of you who know the Catholic Church, you've got the venial sin and the mortal sins, and they were most serious, and going to hell. And actually, I have to say that raised a lot of concern on my part, and I think for maybe a lot of other people as well. But that was a very serious thing. But that was sort of the extent of it, and floated through. My brothers and I were altar boys, and we were involved with the church quite a lot. The priests were involved with my family, and others that started this church, new church, and so we were always working around the church building and bazaars and things like that. But we went because we had to, and there was no other reason. And after high school, got out of high school, and that was the end of church for quite a long time, and just went my way, and didn't think much about church. In fact, I have to be ashamed to say I often mocked it, and be a deer camp, pretend we're going to go to church, and lots of things I'm not necessarily proud of. Did a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, hung out with a lot of different people, and I don't know as I would say I was not in a good path as far as Jesus is concerned. I didn't really know that. My concerns about creating mortal sin were long past, and I was just living my life, and thought I was having a good time. And that went on for quite a number of years, and then I met Louise and was fortunate enough to get married. And at that point, became a stepfather of 2 young boys. And so I thought, something must have stuck somewhere. I thought, well, we need to start going to church as a family, and Louise was going to church. And so we did that, and I can't say that it changed. It didn't bring me any closer to Jesus, other than I thought I was doing what I should be doing, and what I was doing as a parent to children, and instilling the idea of going to church and trying to live the right life. And we did that for quite a number of years. And then those of you who have heard Louise's testimony a couple weeks ago, you'll know the story of how she started going to Bible studies here in Shady Camp. She was here alone, working summers, and I would travel back and forth. I had a lot of vacations, so I'd come up every month to 6 weeks for a week and a half, and I could do some work from here. And so we were at Gordon and Florence's, and they were going to Bible study, and Louise didn't think she wanted to ask me to go, but they said, want to go, and I wasn't going to say no, and I went. And it was different. I used to be a great reader, so I was interested in it to begin with, and never had any exposure to the Bible at all to speak of. I knew there was a Bible, but that was it. I knew it was Old Testament, and that was probably about it. Didn't know the difference in books or the like, and so I was interested, and I would go. So that would mean once a month while Louise was here through the summer, I would be here and I would go, and got interested in it, but not overly interested. I mean, I wasn't bought in yet. And I remember one week I was here, and Pierre wanted to come for a visit. I'll back up again. When I first met Pierre, he'll tell his story, so I might as well tell it now. And so he said, "Hi, I'm Pierre." I said, "Hi, I'm Garry, and I'm Catholic." Yeah. If I don't tell that now, he'll tell it later. Anyway, Pierre, I think it was the day before I was going to go back to Vermont on one of my visits, and he said, "I want to come out to visit you." That's fine, and some small talk and this and that. And toward the end, he said, "How's your spiritual life going?" I said, "Oh, it's going okay, I think. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And I think I'm doing okay." I didn't really want to talk about it. And but the next morning, I was leaving to drive back to Vermont. It was a 17-hour drive, and so I had lots of time to think about things. And I guess the Lord planted that on my mind. I'm sure He sent Pierre just to say that to me, and it caused me to start taking a little stock. I don't think that's the moment that converted me, so to speak, but it made me start thinking about, well, what am I doing? What is the purpose of life? What am I doing here? And what is my relationship with the Lord, or do I even have one? So we continued on that rest of that year, and actually I bought a Bible. I think Louise may have ordered it for me, but bought a Bible and started reading it. And when we returned to Vermont, we decided we needed to find a Christian church. We would go to the church here. Shetty Camp had just started having services. I think it was every other Sunday, and then I think it may have just then started going to full Sundays. But so we started looking for a Christian church, and that was a hard search. And we looked around and tried a couple of different churches, and I didn't feel overly comfortable as far as it wasn't a good fit for us. And at the same time, we had this couple we were close to, Martha and Carl Eels, and they were very strong Christians. Carl was a Bible scholar and used to teach classes and whatnot until his hearing got poor, and they said, "Well, we'll do Bible studies with you." And we started studying the Bible. Actually, we started in Samuel. And so we meet when we get our house, when we get their house, and we did that all through the winter until we return here. And they left the large church they were at, and they tried the little church we had gone to was some miles away, and then they went back to a congregational church they'd been into for many years past, and we started going there, and we liked it, and we attended that church. They didn't have a good avenue for studying the Bible. Classes were full, so they had like a group Bible class, a large group before service each Sunday. So we got some of that, but we got an awful lot out of studying with Carl and Marty. We eventually moved on from there and found the last church we went in Vermont, which was a associate AOG church, Assembly of God, and it was a church plant like here, and they had gotten a church building, which was actually one of the first churches in the town built that happened to be vacant, and started going there. It was a great group of Christians, and we got very involved and had Bible studies and just grew and grew. And then, of course, in the summer we would be here and grow with our church family here. And a lot of people can say, I remember the day and time that I came to the Lord, and I can't say, well, this happened and that brought me to Christ. It just kind of came along. I know now the Lord was pursuing me, and I know He knows I'm a pretty stubborn guy sometimes, and He just said, well, I'm just going to work on him, and before he even knows it, He snuck up on me, I guess. But I certainly became saved and trusted in the Lord, and I'm so happy that that happened. I don't know where I'd be today without it. I've had lots of, as most people have had lots of things to deal with in life, some serious, some not so serious, but the Lord has been there and guided me, or I've had a place to turn when there's no other place to turn, and it's just changed my life tremendously in many ways. I've got lots to grow, lots to learn, and I guess you never learn it all in a way. And sometimes I fret that I just can't sit there and pick out Bible pieces like a lot of people can, but that's me, and the Lord knows that's me, and I don't think He cares. He wants me to just love Him and trust Him and do the best I can in that, and sooner or later He'll give me all those remembering powers to pull that together, or if that's what He wants, 'cause that's what He does. Some of this, I was one thing I've always enjoyed doing was reading, and I love to read novels and mystery stories, and when I went on vacation, I'd read 4 books a week, and avid reader. But after I come to know the Lord, I just put all that away. A lot of friends, I used to trade books with my sister-in-law and whatnot. What do you read? And why did you stop reading? And I said, I found that a distraction, and I didn't need that distraction in my life if I want to try to live and serve the Lord. So all I read is the Bible. Amen. And each day I pray and I read the Bible. I'm doing, which I've done for the last couple of years, the Bible in a year. Works well for me. We get through book after book in both New Testament and Old Testament. And I'm happy with that. And I don't need the distraction of false stories and whatnot. I need to know what's real. The Lord's given me a heart to serve. I can't preach like a lot of people, or not yet, but I can help people and I can serve. And I enjoy doing that. And I try to do that wherever I can, and especially my brothers and sisters in the Lord, but it doesn't matter. I can just set that example for anyone who needs a hand, and I'm always glad to help people. Sometimes I overextend, but I think that's what you're supposed to do sometimes. I just look at my notes here a little bit. He's cleaned up my language. I have pretty strong language with my construction background and all, living alone for many years and hanging out with the guys. And I could tell some pretty good ripe jokes. Don't do that anymore. Don't swear anymore. Haven't for quite a long time. Surprising how quickly he took that away. Yeah. And he does those things. I never really thought about it. I was thinking about it as I was putting my notes together. It's been quite a long time. And you turn on movies here and there, and there'll be movies with not the best language, and there were days where just you watch it, if I didn't like it. But there's been several times Louise and I started a movie, and we said, we're not going to watch this. This is pretty rank. And we move on. And I'd be interested in the movie, but I don't need to listen to that kind of language and the like. It's not what the Lord wants us to do. So I'm not blessed with patience at all. Never have been. I don't know if I ever will have, but the Lord has given me some more patience, and I pray, as Pierre suggested, I pray for His patience to shine through me, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But I have learned to be less critical of people, less judgmental. And that was something I really had to work on and still do. I have a lot more empathy for people, understand people go through things and there are things going on I may not know, and I shouldn't judge the reactions or the actions of people as I first see them. That's not the way to be. I need to walk away and forgive sometimes if I've been offended, and sometimes that's hard as well. I guess I have a thin skin sometimes, or I think I do. So I'm just happy to be here, glad to give this testimony. I'm very happy to be in this church family we have here in Dingwall and Shetty Camp. And it's really, I probably speak for Louis some, but it's really our whole life. And we have our church family in Maine, and it's a good family, and it's a nice church. We're happy to be there, but we don't have the connections there that we have here, and the closeness. And our family in Vermont, we were very close to our church family in Vermont, and still are in touch with them and pray and the like. So I just thank the Lord. Just it's been a wonderful change in my life. I'm the only one in my family, and my extended family and all. As they go to church, it's Catholic. My parents' families are all Catholic. A good deal of them don't go to church. So it was interesting versus other people's experiences is that, at least out loud, I've never been judged by my family for leaving the Catholic Church or anything. I've been encouraged either, because we don't talk about church very much. I don't spend a lot of time with my family because we're quite a distance away. In a way, and I can't say we're overly close as we grew up. One brother and my sister probably. But we'll talk about the Bible once in a while, and I have a sister-in-law trying to read it and understand it, and trying to help her with that a little bit here and there when people listen. And so I can use your prayers on that. Use your prayers for my patience, and just pray to help me grow in the Lord.
Amen. Amen.
Beautiful.
Thank you, brother.